Y'all come on in here. Come on in. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. For wherever you're chiming in, all across the globe. Yours truly, Miss Jazzy. I am here with an exclusive, just kind of like table talk. Let's talk about it. Political chit chat. That all of you, I want to definitely give you an opportunity to chime in, right? So, what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to drop the link, right? I'm going to drop the link for anybody that may be interested, right? Let me see. Let's see if I want to. Do I want to drop the link? Well, I tell you what, maybe I'll just drop some questions if you like, right? So at the end of the day, for me, it's definitely an opportunity to just share my thoughts, share my experiences, share the concern of what I've been hearing and the feedback of also being a voice for people, the community, Black Americans, of course, that really look like me and don't really have a voice and don't kind of show up to be a part of like political rallies and things of such. So, again, for those of you that are here, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is going to just be an exclusive. Take my time, drink on my wine. So I don't know what y'all drinking on tonight. Y'all might want to go grab something for your glass or your cup. But here's to life, everybody. The fact that we're still here and we yet remain. But I realize as a country, as a whole, I really do believe we're in a crisis. I'm going to drink to that. Y'all come on in here. Come on in. I'm inviting all of you to be a part of tonight's conversation and dialogue. So let me find out here. Let me see if I can't really go in and drop the chat for those of you that may want to be a part of the show, right? Hey, y'all tell me where y'all chime. All right, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. All right, so for those of you that rock with Miss Jazzy, on yesterday, presidential candidate Nikki Haley was here in the upstate of South Carolina, and yours truly, Miss Jazzy, I was in the building. Matter of fact, it was a part of a planned day of activities that I personally, I like to go to the political rallies. It don't matter what side of the political party you're on, whether Republican or Democrat, I try to show up to capture the information. I take notes and I ask questions. And so yesterday's highlight was with the admittance of being, first of all, I was the first person in line. That was intentional because I wanted to be front, center, and lights, camera, action. I'm about that life. It's fun to me. So I'm saying all that to say this. The experience went a little bit like this. Now, it was raining yesterday. If y'all know about how the weather was just liquid sunshine all day, like downpours of rain, misting rain, this drizzle, then it stopped. But there was a lot of rain that happened yesterday that I'm sure kept a lot of people too from coming out to be a part of it. But for those that were there, if you were there, it don't matter who you are, you saw me. I mean, one thing about attending those kind of rallies when it comes to the Republican side of the parties is there's only typically a handful of people that look like me, oftentimes. And that will probably include the reporters as well. Parties divided, races divided. There's a lot of division that's happening within our country. And when I think about the fact that I knew I was going to be intentional because I was there early before the doors opened. The doors actually opened for the event at 4 o'clock. That was the call time, but the event was going to start at 6. So your girl pulled up about probably about 3:15. Because let me tell you what I did do. This is my good Samaritan deed of the day. A young lady was actually walking through the parking lot of the high school, And I was asking her as if she kind of knew what was going on. And we was entering through the front side of the school through the main doors, but I also saw cars around the gym side, and she didn't know. She was actually on her way to work. And she was like, I'm only a few more minutes from where I'm needing to walk for. I was like, girl, get in the car, let me take you to work. And I was like, cleaning out my front seat. I mean, if you're a serialpreneur like myself, all of my products and notebooks and papers in my front seat. But I literally cleaned out my front seat, and I gave this lady that I had never met before in life, but God had me to be a ram in the bush. And I was like, well, I told her, I said, I don't guess you got nothing in your pocketbook. I said, but yeah, I carry. And so I'm just trying to do a good deed as it relates to getting you to work out of this drench pouring down at the time I met her rain. So by the time I dropped her off at work, we chopped it up a little bit. I talked business with her, and I gave her samples of my products. But I came back, parked again at the front of the school, and there was a police car like in the cul-de-sac of like the front of the school. So that's why I kind of assumed maybe like that's where they were going to have the rally. So the gentleman that I rolled my window down, I started talking to him. He didn't know, he was just there. So another car pulled up beside me, and I was like, well, hey, I said, do you know like where the entry is for us to be able to get in? And he was like, no, I'm trying to find out. I said, well, you find out and let me know. At this time, I'm in the car eating my food on the go because I went to Dino's. I think that's the name of the restaurant, Dino's Family Restaurant. The vegetables were amazing. I'm on a whole no meat diet, so I grabbed me some food. I'd already drank my nutritional value shake kind of on the go, so I wasn't like starved, but I was like, the fact that I knew I was going to be there for that duration, I wanted to be able to grab food. I was going to eat in, but I was like, no, let me eat in the car because I wanted to be early. And I'm that one to where if I'm going to show up, I want to be early and I want to be at the front of the line because I knew I wanted to be front row and center. I didn't want to be at the back of the bus. Because if they was going to pass the mic and be like, question, I was going to be like, over here, question over here. Look, this how I be, question over here with my hand up. But this wasn't that type of rally. So it was standing room only. Again, let's say the doors are supposed to open about 4 o'clock. I think they actually opened about 4:15. We had to do all this. I went through all this trouble trying to download my ticket and all that and screenshot it, having my phone ready to get in there. They ain't even scan the tickets. They didn't even scan the ticket. So just walking through the hallway, of course, they were giving out these stickers right here that says, I picked Nikki. I got a couple of those. They had lawn signs if you wanted those. That was just, I was like, look at me and my granny one just to be able to, she'll know her favorite granddaughter was in the building, of being able to be amongst the whole lights, camera, action, the energy, just the experience, to be able to witness and see news media outlets from all across the globe. You're talking about from the Washington Post. There are people there from Charlotte. I met people that came that really traveled her from CBS, from MSNBC. The Greenville News was there, of course, and so many others that I can't even call because I didn't actually meet everybody. Because when I got planted in my little space, and this is going to be important, that, I want y'all to understand when I'm going to tell y'all about something I posted of how I kind of experienced like a disrespectful, and I'm going to say white attitude. And I'll get to that later. But anyway, I get in the gym. I'm coming down the hallway on the first one, like, waving all at the cameras, going on in, taking pictures, taking selfies. I already kind of dumped out my photos, so you can definitely go to my profile, Stephanie Miss Jazzy, as well as Instagram, and check those photos out for yourself to know, yes, I was all up in there. Did, and will continue to be. If any presidential candidate come to my city where I work, live, and play, I want to be in the building. Indeed, indeed, indeed. So with that being said, I'm that people person. So, being first in line, I was the door assistance opener. So everybody that was having to come through that door, volunteers checking in, the media, I'm opening the door for them, volunteering to let them use my umbrella. And one thing I can say, like the men, a lot of people walk through that rain with no umbrella. Wait a minute, I'm going to drink to that. Because one thing I know when it comes to melanated skinned women that, especially if they don't have natural hair, that they ain't about letting their hair get wet. We ain't going out in the rain without no umbrella or something over our head, right? But no rain coat for some people. This was not dressed for a rainy day. And that was like, oh my gosh, y'all come on, get up under here. So I met some amazing folks. It was super duper fun. Get inside, did a couple interviews. My Greenwood News guy, he always, we always dap it up. Because one thing about it, when there's not many people within the room that look like you, you do tend to find each other and at least embrace that moment to speak and network and hey, how you doing, and da 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 da. And so came over, and this was the first encounter. So I think her name was Savannah. Savannah was the writer that came over and asked me about my stance of being there. And so basically I told her, for me, I love to support women in politics. Like, one thing that you all may not know about me is growing up, I had envisioned myself being in politics, whether that be a councilwoman or a senator. I wanted to be the one to help pass some bills and, approve of some laws and be the voice for the people and find out like how I was going to be able to help people that look like me as Black Americans. Not just us though, but to all people when you can be the voice, but mainly realizing that there's not much representation for us that are our state legislators or congressmen and women or but anyway, when I realized, honey, how dirty of a game it can be, and thinking like how they bash each other on the debate stages and within political campaigns, I'm gonna drink to that, because I was like, honey, they pull up stuff about Boquisha, they be like, she is not qualified. Yeah, they would say I was not qualified, or would try to disqualify me even in their mind without even knowing the potential and the asset that I could bring to the table as being the voice. Hello, somebody. Chance said, what did Bo do? Well, okay, so where are we? Interviewing with the girl Savannah. Shout out to, I'm going to call her my political advisor, because again, I don't like the name drop if they don't specifically be like, or whatever, but I know who to call when I'm about to go and be in these type of arenas to formulate for me a question that can be articulated in a way to make me not look like the girl from the hood that want to do good. Hello, somebody. Just like all of our presidential candidates, I'm sure they have advisors and people that help them with messaging and being able to, the statistics and all that kind of stuff to help them be right in what they're speaking about. Well, I got somebody that I can call too. Several people really, but in this one instance, shout out to you. You know who you are. I always can appreciate that. I know if I read some of the questions that some of y'all dropped, that when I just put the poll out there to say, if I get a chance to ask Nikki Haley a question today, what would you? I said, what would you have me to ask her? Some of y'all just off the chain. But I'm gonna tell you, as I was leaving to transition to go to where I was headed, the first person that I asked, like, what would you have me to ask Nikki Haley? What y'all think they told me to ask her? This the first person, and it's gonna make you laugh. But I was thinking, my people, my people, my people. Hello, is anybody there? I know everybody probably watching the game. The Super Bowl is gonna be happening in a couple weeks, so I already know who y'all rocking with. What's the first team that already won? I don't know. First team that's already won gonna be playing whoever the winner of this 49ers and Detroit Lions team, right? Last time I looked, Detroit was beating 49ers. I don't know what the score is right now, but who y'all with? All right, so here was the first question though, that when I was like, I'm going to see Nikki Haley, and what would you have me to ask her? They said to ask her, when is the next stimulus check coming? I can't make this up. I promise you, I cannot make this up. She was like, ask her where and when is the next stimulus check coming? I just pulled off. I'm about to go, girl. I'm just loving on you all. So it's always fun to me that I know that I can be in places that most of you oftentimes watch from the bed or the comfort of your home or on the couch, right? But the fact that I was in there, it's something about the energy of being at those rallies, hearing the people kind of cheer their, selected choice of whoever it is that they're gonna, decide to vote for. I'm always kind of on that nonpartisan where I don't go one way or the other. I'm in there to obtain knowledge and be a voice for the people. Like, I'm personally not endorsing any presidential candidate right now, because when I'm really now being more awakened, because I've been asleep on what's happening really within the country, if it ain't really right here in our backyard and neck of the woods. Like, I'm just finding out what's going on over there in New York and Chicago, and before you know it, it's going to be in all predominantly Black cities, whether it's Baltimore or Philly or Houston or Atlanta. Like, this migrant immigration over the border, people coming over here, we don't even know who they is, what they got going on, and the rapes and the killing of children. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. And I'm concerned that it's really not a major concern of our current presidential electives. Whereas on the strength of Trump would have shut the wall down. Would nobody be over here? Period. Say I'm lying. I'm gonna drink to that. Well, interviewing with Savannah from the Greenville News. Let me pull up what I told her. First of all, if I would have been able to get the mic, I was going to try to do this in 2 minutes. So I'm going to read through it fast, but I'm going to let y'all know based on just knowing that I could have gotten the mic and been like, question over here, this is what I would have said. Welcome back to the great state of South Carolina. I'm so glad that you chose the upstate to come visit again. Because when I think about South Carolina, like, Nikki Haley could have went anywhere. She could have went to Columbia. She could have went to Charleston, Hilton Head, but she came back to the upstate. So when she came to the upstate the first time in downtown Greenville, when they had the rally at the Zen, I was there. Front row again, I was there. But I was also there early enough. I might have been like the 5th person in line, but I was there. And I was able to come back again when she also visited Mauldin High School right here in Mauldin, South Carolina, which for me, drive time, I came though from Spartanburg to Mauldin. So it was damn near an hour with traffic by the time I could get to Mauldin from Spartanburg. But I was willing to make that sacrifice to be there, to experience it all. I'm interviewing with Savannah. And I was going to tell her, I'm so glad she chose the upstate to come visit again. And I was going to say, as a female in politics, that I love her poise and how she has, and I need y'all to hear the words that I'm selecting. I love her poise of how she's been debating your thoughts, your beliefs, and your plans. But here's a run-on question that I want to read in less than 2 minutes. This is what I was going to tell them if they would have gave me the mic. I was going to say, the word on the street says the influx of migration is a plan to improve economic stagnation within the U.S., to increase electoral votes in Democratic states, to replace the Black vote, to help corporate America fill low-skilled jobs and make the country more global diverse. Like, what is your stance and thoughts on the purpose of illegal migration that strains economies, decreases American safety, and circumvents current laws? And I was going to say, do you have any thoughts on why President Biden and the Democratic Party failed to follow current laws? Like, what do you do to plan to fix the problem? And here's the last of it. This was the questions. If I would have had the mic, I was going to ask her, and I was telling the Greenville News lady all that. She was recording me on video, so I promise you I gave it all to her. I said, here's the last of it. Why does the country increase taxes, do budget cuts to take care of other countries and illegal immigrants who current research shows 3 out of 5 are dependent on social services such as welfare, but Americans, homeless or not, are struggling and do not receive the same benefits, although we pay taxes? Do you plan to deport the people who came here legally and exploited the asylum law by claiming persecution, like when really they are economic migrants? why do you feel this country was not built on slavery? I need to know that question. I mean, even though the history of the country is Black Americans were enslaved for 400 years, free labor, rape, beat, and murder without consequence. Like, you really want to, I told her when I had her ear for a couple minutes, though, I did tell her at the end that I said that comment you made about slavery and all that, I said, you gonna have to clean that up. I said, because, you know, she began to want to try to tell me. I said, listen, I know I ain't got, look, I can maybe in my mind imagine what you thought you might have been trying to say, but I said, you're gonna have to clean that up, and it's gonna be all in the messaging, and you will have to speak our language. And so with that being said, I was like, yeah. So I said, we need to follow up. I said, because I have solutions and ideas. So her party coordinator, I want to say her name is, let me see if I can remember her name. Miles, I want to say is her name, but gave me the card, and I do intend to follow up, because most importantly for Nikki Haley, I think it's a matter, but the fact that she was willing, and I received her as being willing to extend the invitation to have a conversation with me, being able to say that on behalf of the people. Like, to me, as I was saying, I felt like that was huge for me. I mentioned it, I said it, I told her it needed to be cleaned up, but I also want to help educate to make sure she understands. And oftentimes it could be that she really just don't get it, right? So when you really don't live and look through the lens of Black Americans, how would you really know? Because having, as it was quoted, she got a lot of Black friends. Having Black friends don't equate to all Black Americans that you still might understand. And the fact that your daughter is married to a Black man still doesn't give you an opportunity to think that you really, really get the struggle of my people. Whoa. Back to bust up, Miss Jazzy. What you say? So for people that rock with me, if you need somebody to repeat something, so let me reel it in and take us back so y'all understand the full context of what I'm saying. So the question went like this: why do you feel this country was not built on slavery, even though the history of this country is Black Americans were enslaved for 400 years, free labor, rape, beat, and murder without consequence? Like, do you think Black Americans are owed reparations? Why or why not? Oh, I was gonna get all that in if they didn't take the mic from me. I was. That was everything condensed, but I was gonna read it within 2 minutes without having to break it down and explain what I was saying to y'all. I told Greenville News that, and then she gonna ask me at the end. She said, because I told her initially that I was still vetting the candidates, and I was torn. So her follow-up question with me is, you know, of the candidates, who are you torn between? Let me sip on this red wine and tell y'all what my response was. And I hope she published that part. Chance, you still with me? I hope she published that part when I talked about it wasn't so much that I was torn between the people who would be on the ticket versus being torn between the party. Hello, somebody. Like, torn between the parties. Because when I look at the Democrat Party, oh, it's bad. But when I look at the Republican Party, oh, it's bad too. So what it really all boils down, when you think about the party, not because grandma and them and mama and them, and because, you know, you've always been trained and told you vote straight Democrat. No, you really got to be able to vote your morals, your values, your principles. You know, what are you standing on? So I ended that interview like that. Now, mind you, now I was in line, and I was the first person in line. The second young guy. Shout out to you, Ace, if you're watching. Ace is actually a senior at Mauldin High School. He plays soccer. He also came and played the male volleyball program they have at Mauldin High School. You know, he's already planning to go to Clemson next year, that he's either going to study law or sports medicine. And just being able to vibe with him in that moment. And as a mom, because I'm looking at Ace, like I told him, my daughter's a freshman in college. I got kids your age. My words of wisdom would be for you. And I was able to share some things with him as a young man who expressed interest to be in politics. He said, one day I want to be alone. And I said, and you can. And just to be able to encourage him in that moment and help him to change up his languages and things that he was saying in questioning his gift or whatever his dreams and vision was. But to realize that life and death is in the power of the tongue. And when he switched up that conversation, that confidence that he received in knowing that he can do it. So Ace, I'm excited to follow your journey in life on this political arena, and what you decide to do and be the voice for people, all people as well. All right, so the third person that was in line, and I'm just going to be real and explain it to you the best way I know how, with hopefully not being offensive to anyone, but it is what it is. I wouldn't say the appearance of the man would make me feel like would be anybody that I still wouldn't be able to approach to have a conversation with. But when he also introduced himself, shout out to you, Jack. You know who you are. Jack said this was his first political rally ever in his life, and he's 65 years old. I'm going to drink to that. "65 and never been to a political rally before. This was his first one. And I've been to several. So I'm going to say there's many deep rooted issues as to why he probably just ain't come. If you scroll down my page and you see the photos I shared without even probably pointing them out, and we took a selfie, you'll be able to see who I'm talking about. 65 years, he ain't never been to a political campaign. But he ended up on the stage with one of the lawn signs behind her. He was yelling out in the crowd, saying this stuff that, just blatantly saying whatever was on his mind at that moment. Like, I'm like thinking in my mind, Jack, if you don't be quiet, they're going to come and tell you to get off the stage. But it was fun meeting him too. So I brought up him to say where I was stationed in the front of the stage, he had gotten 2 pins that would pin on your clothes, and he brought them over to me and asked me to pin them on his clothes, and I ended up pinning them on his suspenders. So he had on suspenders. So I put one on this suspender and I put one on that suspender. And he had told me about, he had went over there with them girls over there, as we said, them over there, and did some interviews. And he said, you need to go over there and interview. And I was thinking to myself, well, I might not, because I really didn't want to move out of my space, because I was intentional about my area. This is going to be important in a minute when I tell y'all, Chance, what Bo did in my space, okay? So anywho, my 2 friends that I met, which was Justin, and then there was David. Shout out to you, David. David said he was going to snap my picture, and because they was making me feel like a superstar, how they kept coming over there talking to me and wanting to know if I wanted to volunteer and what my thoughts was, and what was my stance on it, and just taking my picture. And David said, I'm going to take a selfie, so when I see you on the news, I'm going to be like, that's the lady that was in there, that's a Trump supporter. He did say that. But I enjoyed speaking with him, getting to know him to be a dual veteran. He not only served in the Army, but he also served in the Navy. I was like, David, you did too? And he did. And so shout out to you, sir. We salute and appreciate the service that you've given to our country. And then my friend Justin, on the other hand, who was a lot nicer than Boquisha, that was kind of like a mediator between me and the somebody mama and somebody grandma. I promise y'all I cannot make this up. That met Boquisha yesterday. Let me go ahead and fast forward to that part of my experience, since I already had mentioned that I had encountered a disrespectful white attitude. Now, as the time that the rally is about to get started, prior to this lady that I even spoke with her and her husband and people that were around, she had an arm full of raincoat, umbrella, purse, the stickers. She just looked like she had a lot going on. So from behind me, I asked her if I said, ma'am, I said, you don't mind, you can put your jacket or her husband's jacket on the rail so you can free up some of your hands. And she's like, okay, blah, blah, blah. She proceeded to tell me about, she couldn't believe that she had her husband at a Republican Party rally for Nikki Haley. So obviously she insinuated with me like, he was Democratic per se. And the fact that he was there was like a big deal to her. And she was trying to take all the pictures. Like this was going to be proof that he was there. He showed up from where I was standing, them trying to take a selfie. I was in their picture background. So, I was asked to move and I did several times. But when it came time for the rally to kick off, I became stationary in my personal space, that by the time Nikki Haley came out there, and it wasn't a standing room only where you had to be embraced next to somebody where you couldn't move. Well, ma'am here wanted to like bogart her way in and put her arm in between Justin and I to kind of let us know I'm about to be right here, whether y'all want me to be right here or not. But we also taking pictures, and and I'm thinking in my mind, by the time Bo was pulled on, that I'm like, if you wanted to be here like where I am, you should have got him when I got here. But I'm gonna need you to get off of me. Like, stop touching me. Like, get your arm off of me. Like, what is you doing? I don't know if she just got overwhelmed in excitement of just, I don't know, starstruck or whatever, but literally, Chance, and anybody else that's watching right now, I'm talking to you, Chance, and you dropping in the chat. I see you. But my personal space was violated. And even after asking if she would kind of please, move back, I get she's trying to take pictures, but we all are. And the way she was making me feel uncomfortable at that moment, in that I just wanted the lady to get off of me. And Justin, who was over to my right side, had end up having to turn sideways as if she was going to bogart her way in. Very rude. And after I said, and I told Justin, I said, well, just let her get her pictures, Justin, and then she'll move back. I'm kind of letting her know out loud, ma'am, I'm trying to respect you in this moment. We trying to let you get your pictures, but after you get your pictures, move back there where you was beside your husband, which is behind us. I'm on the front row. So I promise you, somebody probably got us in that moment that I was having to kind of like check her to be like, no, you don't deserve this spot. You're not about to run up over here in our space and spot. And she basically was saying, yes, she was. And I said, ma'am, what is you doing? I said, no, we about to get started. I'm gonna just need you. So Justin was like, you know what? I'm just gonna move back, ma'am. You can come. I said, well, Justin, you didn't have to do that. And I said, I guess that was nice of you to let her being rude like that. So by this time I was like, that was very rude. So her friend that was over there, she started talking. So me and Justin talking, I'm letting him know, I said, Justin, you better than me. Because I wouldn't have moved. And I know you were just as excited about being here on the front row, but she like was very rudely bogart her way, kind of took that experience away from him, that I know we were sitting there talking and he was just excited just as I was to be there. Yeah. So I'm saying all that to say this. You can discern when she's trying to talk to her friend and say whatever she was going to say, and then she turned her face back around, and the expression, the expression on her face let me know it was deep rooted. If you know what I'm talking about. Before I knew it, let me tell y'all what Bo leaned over there and told that woman in her ear. I cannot make this up. I cannot make this up. I promise you, this really did happen for real. And she probably told somebody else her version of what happened. I probably need to do a part two. Is that, listen. So Justin, as we were talking, I said, well, Justin, I said, you were better than me. I said, because I just don't like nobody all in my personal space like that. And Justin was like, well, yeah, I don't like anybody touching all on me like that either. And so he's like, that's why I just moved out the way and let her do. I said, but see, I wasn't moving though. That's what I needed them to understand. Stephanie, at that time, Miss Jazzy Boquisha, at this time, I'm not moving just because you done had a moment that I don't know if you felt privileged to be where I was, or you thought you just gonna move me out the way and I was just gonna move because you wanted to be where I was. No, that really did happen for real. But Bo leaned over there and told her, because I kind of, even when I was doing my lives, and y'all saw I did circulars throughout the bill. Oh, I don't know if I've shared them all yet, but I was cropping out to where, like, I tried not to even get her to be a part of none of my videos. You ain't gonna even get no shine on my videos. Like, get out the way, move, get out the way, that kind of like. And so all of that happened to where I leaned over there and told her, I said, the way your look, I said, the way your face look, you look real racist right now. And I went back to with my notebook and started taking notes, taking pictures. I was lying. I got a video that I guess somehow my hand pressed it in slow-mo. That I'm telling her, I said, we're not about to do this right now. I wish I really could have seen how this woman was like all over me, over my shoulder, like our arms was like this, like that close, in a space that you didn't have to be that close. It was not that kind of party. She almost in her body language was trying to tell me to move out her way. She was about to be right there. And guess what? Bo was not having it. Then she gonna tell me she was hard of hearing. I said, you guess what I said? You heard me. I said, you heard me. Meant it too. And went on right to listening and focusing. But I promise you, I ruined her whole rally. But I let her know I'm not the one. Don't play with me. I can be Stephanie and I can be Jazzy. But if you've ever met the Boquisha and me, oh, you pulled on her. And she will get you nice, nasty together. I'm going to need some more wine. I'm going to need some more wine. Proceeded on. They came out there and started throwing up T-shirts in the air. I didn't really think they were going to throw none clothes. I wasn't really trying to get none. I had my phone. I had a pen. I had my notebook. I had these stickers in there. They had gave us some kind of little brochure thing. So at the time, I had all that in my hand. So I wasn't really trying to reach up to get a shirt. But they threw one kind of where I reached up to grab it and brought my hand back down and like got a nick on my thumb. I was bleeding. Like my nail had literally went into my thumb and there was blood. I don't even want to call it a name that I was gonna call it that start with a K, if you know what I'm talking about. I even to that point, guess what I said? I said, I don't even want to ask you for nothing. I said, you see my finger bleeding. Do you got a tissue or something in your pocketbook? She knows she wasn't gonna give me a tissue or band-aid if she had one in there. But look at that. I promise you that happened. I cannot make this up. Make it up. So my Greenville News friend, who was where we were standing, that's where the photographers were seated getting pictures from the stage, from the floor. So where she was, I reached over and tapped him. Like I literally had to lean over the rail to tap on him to be like, you got a napkin or anything in your bag? Like I'm bleeding. Like this whole forefront of my thumb was blood. I cannot make this up. So he, like myself, had one of these little tablets, and he tore one of the little tablet things off. I said, oh, I got one of them, but he gave it to me. And guess what I did? I folded it up like that and put it on my thumb, just like that. And had a makeshift Band-Aid. There ended up being a lady behind me. She said, "Ma'am, I got some Neosporin in my purse if you want to put some on." I said, "I sure do." And she gave me some Neosporin, dapped it on there, and wrapped this thing right back around my finger and kept going live, and had my notebook in my hand as I was taking notes with the, yes, that happened for real. With all that being said, my phone ended up dying at the end. I did not capture the entire spiel of what Haley said, and I took some notes, but the one thing about what I really wanted to communicate with her was how I believe she had a lot of people attention that I would say looked like me, but she lost a lot of Black votes when she made the comments about racism and slavery. And I don't know, it's kind of like a lot of the vibe I've been getting about her is that it's kind of wishy-washy. They don't know. But if you compare her to Trump, the one thing about Trump, we ain't got to guess about him. We already know what it is. We know, period. Okay. So I believe that America is not ready for a female president. I don't think so. But if by default she end up on the ticket, I believe it'll only be because Trump went to jail. I'm gonna need some more wine. Hello, somebody. But I have enjoyed watching her debate. I mean, she's been hanging with the good old boys. That's what I would say. But as it relates to this border crisis, it's really been described that it's really a replacement for Black Americans. Have y'all really even thought about that? Think about this. I can imagine what that border looks like. And it was described, Nikki Haley described it as being like, you know, pounds and pounds of clothes. Just think about people that are shedding clothes as they come over the wall, or just think about the dead bodies. Just think about the trash. I can't even imagine. But one thing I do believe, without a shadow of a doubt, in knowing that the mindset and I guess attitude of what our current presidential electors are doing, like, you know, as if it's not a big problem right now, as if it's not a crisis, it's just something we're gonna have to deal with. Versus, I know if Trump was on the electives to make it happen, oh, the border would be shut down. Somebody else watching me gotta agree with me. I don't know. I don't know. You said something about who would be Trump VP. Now, I'm gonna tell you what would really be a dope idea, even though he done talked a lot of trash, if Trump called Nikki Haley to be the vice president. I mean, that very well could be an option. But you know, everybody gonna want to rally around Trump right now because they gonna want to get on the ticket. Like, look at Tim Scott. Of course, he gonna be what our people would probably call Tim Scott, like a house nigga, or what's the other word they call Uncle Tom, or something. This one is called a cat. I don't know. Whatever, you know how they name call folks, whatever they call them. But you know, Tim Scott also recently made the public announcement about his engagement with a young lady, of course, that doesn't look like me or of melanin skin. She's a white lady. I didn't even know he liked ladies, to be honest with you. I ain't got no more wine to drink. I should just go in the live and do part 2 tomorrow. I need to get off of here. I'm gonna blame it on the wine, baby. I'm sharing my thoughts, my point of views, and my concerns as it relates through my lens, through my voice, from my people. When I think about the governor of Florida and Texas, I was not paying attention to this, but my son is in not Texas. My son is in Florida. I mean, he's in Jacksonville, but I'm thinking about this is something like we really need to wrap our mind around. Like the governor of Florida and the governor of Texas sent like a busload of people, a busload of like these immigrants and illegal people that's coming over here, that's just influxing in. They got dropped off. Guess, do y'all know where they got dropped off at? Anybody else been paying attention? You said coon. Yeah, I forgot about coon and monkey. You right. Does anybody know where the governor of Texas and the governor of Florida have been sending people by the busloads to this one particular city in the world? And what's so crazy? It's predominantly black. It's predominantly black, y'all. And I'm thinking, for one, they probably don't speak the language. How would they going? They probably already anti-black. They ain't probably used to being around a whole lot of black people. If they ain't got no money, they ain't got no food and shelter, no car. What you think they're gonna come to the black neighborhoods to maybe do? They're gonna probably try to take some people's stuff, and it's just gonna be, look, this is too much. It's Chicago. 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 The governor of Texas and the governor of Florida were able to send some of these people to Chicago. Well, what you know about Chi-Town? They kill people over there. Just send them over there. Either they let them send them over there, where the struggle is already real. Like not just the homeless, but as a people, the struggle is real. So you're gonna bring all these illegal people to come over to be amongst these other cities to take up a lot of the social services that the people need. The people that's over here need them services, but they can come over here and get medical service and get the housing subsidies and get the food vouchers and get a government ID. When there's some people, you know what, as I've been listening and now hearing the terminology of things like the word on the street of what's happening, like this what you really call gentrification. When you have the fact that people are being paid, like I saw where they paying like $9,000 to be able to allow somebody to come stay at your house. If you allow, like, imagine you allowing one of these immigrant mothers with her 2 or 3 children come stay at your house and they're going to give you $9,000 or however much it is a day, a week. I don't know. Don't y'all let them people come in y'all house. Y'all ain't going to be able to get them out. Can't nobody come stay with me no more. I'm not about it. I'm not helping nobody. Mm-mm. Don't, we don't want you to stay here. Mm-mm. 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 So I'm so serious. But $9,000 a month, do you know that's like an economic come up? And I was looking at a video clip that was shared with me where this one guy, I can't even remember what city he was in, but he had like 15 properties. He had like 15 properties. And like a couple of them might have been apartment buildings or something. And he had families all up in there. And just think about all them properties. Just think about all them properties in the apartment homes of how they're going to pay him how much a month per person, per family, or however that works. I don't know. But just think if it was $9,000 a month to let the people that you don't know what kind of disease they got. You don't know what their mental state is like. You don't know if they're criminals. You don't know if they're killers. You don't know their language. You don't know their culture. You just listen. I'm trying to understand how we're going to allow people that are here illegally to dominate our social services. So guess what? It ain't going to be none left for Black America or the people that's over here that really, really need it. I know it's some people on this live right now. Y'all don't want to try to get some help, assistance, and subsidies, and ain't no monies, ain't no help. Or it ain't something that's happening right away. Hello, somebody. The housing, the medical. All I know, just like them people coming over here, it's people over here that's suffering too. There's Black America out here that's suffering too. There's a lot of people that's struggling to pay their own bills, let alone the people that will come over here and get the free help that maybe the ones that's in the struggle, get them some of that free help. That's already over here, that belong here. That's already burdened with our own problems. And you're going to bring these other people and bust them into these other cities that the problem's already deep, but you're going to help them bring their problems on top. What you think about? It's about to spiral out of control. I don't know what's about to happen. Listen, it's really a way, and I've been hearing this word, and it's been ringing in my spirit, to monopolize the social services. This is real. Ladies and gentlemen, I need y'all to hear what I'm saying to y'all, because I think we sleep out here. We ain't paying attention. We're not paying attention. We're not paying attention. When I think about people that can't get social services right now, but the Ukrainians can. When I think about people that can't get housing right now, I don't know. I'm damn near half a century. I was thinking in my mind, based on our life expectancy, I'm really worried about my kids and my grandkids and my great grands and any other grands and great 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 grands down the lineage to be. Like, what is it really going to look like for them? Like, the state and the being of our country as a whole, we're going to have to end up together. But what they really want us to do, I believe in my mind, even if you think about depopulation, you think about running people out of the country. No, this our country. This our country. God gave it to us. Y'all not about to run us out of our country. Like, I don't want to say, like a civil war will be declared, but what y'all think about to happen out here in these streets? With that being said, let me take a pause for the cause. I will be hosting my next concealed weapon permit class on March the 17th. It's already over halfway sold out. So if you want to be a part of that class to come in, I know some of you got your license years ago, it's expired. Come through, get it done again. Some of you that have already gone through a class that I've hosted for you, you are a lifetime student, and you can come back and get that classroom training absolutely free. You do gain credits every time you come through the learning space. So y'all show up. This Friday, we hosted a networking kind of continuing education, guns and grind, shooters and shakers, meet up, the official lineup of the models, the official kickoff of just the whole Rip the Runway Red Beauty and All Things Fashion event is going down this Saturday. There's so much more I could tell y'all, but I had to drop that in there. Now, let me take about, y'all see, I've got notes. I'm looking at my notes. Now, this is impressive, that I was in my mind thinking, how is this even possible? But when it's really not in your neck of the woods, you might not pay attention. But like some of the most Black residents of places all over the world, I need y'all to hear about the loss of life as it relates to Black Americans, okay? Since 2000. So in the past 23 years in New York City, 200,000 people have died, Black Americans. In Chicago, 261,000 people in the past 23 years. They're cleaning us out. In Detroit, 277,000 people. And I'm sure these numbers growing more and more and more every day since 2000. In Baltimore, 80,000. In LA, 76,000. In Washington, D.C., 58,000 Black Americans have died. Reported died. Think about the ones that ain't even been reported that they really dead for real yet. Since 2000. In New Orleans, 116,000 people dead and gone. That's a lot of people. 200,000, 261,000. Y'all added up 277,000, 80,000, 76,000, 58,000, 116,000. Y'all do the research. Like I wrote this down for real. I need y'all to see that I'm not playing about trying to help to educate our people so we can be in the know. Like, are you even registered to vote? Are you registered to vote? Like, this was for the first time one of those, because in my mind I'm thinking, who I'm finna vote for? Who am I gonna vote for? Vote for who? I was gonna be willing to sit this one out. Louise. And the Holy Spirit was like, that was like a tug of war in my spirit as the ancestors let me know, no ma'am. You will vote your values and your morals and your beliefs. And I'm not gonna let nobody bully me to tell me who I'm gonna vote for. I'm gonna make the best conscious choice of who I believe gonna get the job done for the people, the Black Americans, all people. All I'm thinking about is gentrification and ethnic. I heard it described as ethnic cleansing. Imagine that. Everything that's happening, like this immigration push out. It's kind of like once you hear this, you can't unhear this information. All I'm going to say this as it relates to presidential candidate Nikki Haley. I personally just want to know your heart as far as, who you really are. Are you going to stand by your word? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to have an ear to hear? Are you willing to clean up the comments that you said? Would you really be able to sit down and have the dialogue and say, you know what, I was wrong? I'll take full accountability of saying that, I didn't choose the right wording, or I know what my heart and my mind intended, but how it was articulated is wrong, because there's no way in anybody that's in their right mind that would believe that this country was not built on racism and slavery. Like, it's deep rooted, like for real, for real. But how would you know if you don't really live through the eyes and the experience and the skin in which we all live in that look like me? All I believe is, unless Trump go to jail, because like I told the news people too, Trump got supporters. A man ain't even had to get on the debate stage and still leading the polls. They love him. But they also know, as she described, Nikki Haley described in her presentation last night when she visited the upstate of South Carolina at Mauldin High School, she said, but where Trump goes, chaos follows. Y'all see how they ran up in that? Y'all see how they ran up and took over in that building. Now ain't no way in the hell. This is my platform. Ain't no way in the hell that people that look like me would have been able to climb up no wall and bust through that building like that and would not be dead. I ain't got no wine in my glass. Next time I'm just gonna bring the whole bottle right there. I'm about to get out of here, y'all. I just want to give y'all my whole spiel broken down for you to help you to understand. Early vote February 12th, which is my daughter's birthday. Happy early birthday, Sharonda. We can't wait to celebrate and turn up with you. But early voting, are you registered to vote? Do you know where you will be going to vote as far as your precinct? Things have changed over the years. Where you may have gone last year to vote may not be the same this year. So make sure you find out in advance. Eliminate any excuses that you can get to the polls. Again, I will say, yours truly, Miss Jazzy, I am personally not endorsing any one person or any one particular party. I am still myself personally vetting these candidates and how they're going to serve and lead our country. But I will vote this year, probably different than I've ever voted. And I'm thinking about it along the lines, though, of my morals, my beliefs, and my values. That's important. Why do I believe that this presidential race is so important? I mean, our life and future depends on it. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. Let's connect. I would love to bring some special guests back. Maybe we'll do it again one day this week. If not this week, maybe next week. But let's chop it up for Political Chit Chat. And that's what's been going down with yours truly, Miss Jazzy. Political Chit Chat. I'm going to give you all the experiences through my lens, through my eyes, but let you know most importantly, at the end of the day, your voice and your vote, it matters. Let's go.